Hello, Internet. The American Gentleman here, back with another story you won't believe. In this video, we're going to learn about the tragic fate of a young Atlanta woman and where the cops currently are with this case. The mother of one of Young Thug's children was killed after a bowling alley dispute. LaKevia Jackson, a 31-year-old woman who had a son with the rapper Young Thug, was shot and killed at a bowling alley in Atlanta on Thursday, March 17th. According to the report, Jackson was at a bowling alley in the Metro Fun Center on Thursday night celebrating a friend's birthday when a fight broke out over a bowling ball. Later on that night, when they began to leave, Miss Jackson was approached by an armed man who shot her multiple times, leading to her death. There is also a report that following the confrontation over the bowling ball, LaKevia had the shooter jumped by multiple men outside in the parking lot. That is when the man came back with a loaded gun, shooting the woman multiple times. But these details have not been confirmed. Also, the news reported that police know who the shooter is and they're waiting for the man to turn himself in. They'll probably be waiting a long time if they don't go take action now. It is currently March 26th and the suspect still has not turned himself in and has not been apprehended. Last time I heard of someone shooting people at a bowling alley, they got right back out of jail and shot the legend Young Dolph at a cookie shop in Memphis. As far as Young Thug, where was he during the incident? At the time of the murder, Young Thug was in Austin performing at Billboard's South by Southwest concert series. Since the incident, he has not yet publicly spoke out about the situation. Young Thug and LaKevia have a 14-year-old son together named Kavion. For anyone who doesn't know, Young Thug is an Atlanta rapper who first rose to stardom under the tutelage of Birdman. With Lil Wayne spending at least a year in prison on Rikers Island for a gun charge, Birdman needs to find new artists to account for the missing revenue. Birdman got 50% of everything Lil Wayne got, with other rappers dubbing it the worst deal in hip-hop. Birdman soon signed Nicki, Drake, and a super hardcore Lil Wayne fan by the name of Jeffrey Lamar Williams, aka Young Thug. On first hearing this, Lil Wayne was furious, probably feeling like he had been replaced. But after several tributes to the legend, Wayne eventually warmed up and garnered a great deal of respect for the three artists. Young Thug also was affiliated with the Bloodset from Cleveland Avenue and was the founder of the YSL gang/music group. On the streets, they were a gang known as Young Slime Life, but on records, he claimed it's a business and called it Young Stoner Life. I'm not a psychic, but I can see a RICO case in Thugger's future. According to community activist George Shetty, he believed LaKevia Jackson's death was related to the feud by YSL's greatest ops and rival gang, YFN, which stands for Young Fly Ninjas, whose leader, YFN Lucci, is currently locked up after a drive-by shooting went horribly wrong. Lucci pulled up and fired at his ops, but the rival gang was quick and fired shots back into Lucci's vehicle, killing the passenger. Instead of taking the passenger to the hospital, Lucci promptly opened the car door and kicked his dying friend out of a moving vehicle, leaving his dead body in the streets. The YFN gang/music group, led by Lucci, was also hit with a RICO case. Some speculate that it was this very set that took LaKevia's life, looking for revenge for locking up their leader. Could this be the reason why her life was taken, or was it really over a bowling ball and respect? Recently, I've went back and watched LaKevia's rants that she has become famous for, usually arguing with someone that her baby's daddy is better than you, and what you're doing is gay in comparison. I personally find it comical, and by no means should her life be taken over a bit of an attitude. Hell, there's plenty of women that if they were in her situation, they would be the same way. But men these days aren't being men. They're overly sensitive, can't take no for an answer. They don't have any money, and God forbid when they do, because that's when they act like the pure devil or a street Jesus, puffed up on their own supposed accomplishments and drunk off their arrogance. Like that one guy who owns the world's most expensive super mansion in Beverly Hills that he calls the One. He made so much money, he thought he was completely unstoppable, and he actually thought that he was the one. Not joking. He took his wealth and built the most ridiculous and impractical house anyone has ever seen. Well, this guy eventually started missing his payments and started losing his mind, Currently, he has lost his house and turned his hundreds of millions of dollars into nothing. That's why I've always liked a certain prayer of David, where he basically prays, "Lord, don't make me so poor that I have to constantly suffer, but don't make me so rich that I forget you and become conceited, thinking everything that I've done is from my own hands alone." Also, I've noticed young men these days have become very vain. They don't want to work. They all want to be a part of some scam, like it's the job of the century, whether it's robbing, drug dealing, credit card or online scams, promoting fake cryptos or NFTs, real estate scams, betting, gambling, pyramid schemes, you name it. This is something that is manifesting through all the races right now in slightly different ways. And instead of taking care of their bills, they want to adorn themselves with expensive clothes, shoes, and diamond jewelry. In my personal opinion, wanting to put diamonds all over yourself is just feminine. You should be making your woman look like that, not yourself. And it literally makes me cringe every time I see a young man with $100,000 watch put $20,000 worth of aftermarket diamonds on it. And after they are done foolishly spending $120K in the watch, it becomes worth only $20K in the end. That is literally pissing away $100,000 for no reason other than the fact you want to be stupid. This is because to do this, you literally have to destroy the watch by puncturing it with thousands of holes. And the majority of the time, leftover diamonds that are not even jewelry grade are used. Anytime you tamper with a watch, you destroy its value immediately and irreversibly. And I'm gonna tell you right now, money might can buy a diamond encrusted watch, but it can't buy intelligence or taste. And my biggest problem with the current street culture is this: the hate. They're out here hating every day. And it feels like every young black man that wants to succeed, they want to shoot him down in the streets. The hugest obstacle to young black men in 2022 is not the police, but it is other young black men. Every time a rapper gets shot, it's almost always another black man. In 2020 alone, there were 200 rappers shot and killed. And in 2021, there were 250 killed. The hate is real. Street culture nowadays is like worship money and kill everything that's in the way. What would you do for money? Would you rob and steal? Would you kill? They want to turn your daughters into drug-addicted strippers and prostitutes and turn your sons into killers, dealers, and scammers. And recently, this cycle of violence has escalated higher than it's ever been in the history of America. Crime and murder is worse now than it was in the crack epidemic in the 80s, and it is showing no signs of getting any better. As inflation and prices of goods rise, I don't anticipate there will be any let up in crime anytime soon. Stay safe out there, and if there's anybody who isn't treating you right in public, keep your cool, because whatever you feel like you need to say to them isn't worth your life. You never know someone's mental state. I recently seen footage of a couple cussing out an old man neighbor from across the street. He came back slowly with a gun and told them multiple times he was going to shoot if they didn't stop. He even pointed the gun at them. They still wouldn't shut the hell up. Matter of fact, the woman was too busy screaming at him to notice that he had already shot down and killed her husband. Then he turned and shot her, and she acted completely surprised. After that, he went back in the house to reload, so he can come back and finish her off. Super disturbing. I have a cousin who was in the military who sends me stuff like this. Now there's not enough soap in the world to scrub my eyes clean. And one last thing I wanted to touch on. There are YouTubers out here saying this woman was sacrificed by a young thug. And I would hope that all of you out here would have enough brain cells to know that this is simply not true. And it's very appalling that people would say such a thing after someone's life was taken at a bowling alley. They're going to get themselves sued if they're not careful, if not worse. So with that said, please like and subscribe before Young Thug comes to your house and sacrifices you. He has agreed not to touch my subscribers, so if you don't subscribe now, I can't save you. And as always, don't forget to be good on your way to becoming great.